Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for once again joining Wonder Repeat. We are back here after our month of being away, and I have a special guest who was supposed to join us last time, but she gave herself a concussion working on a rig. So let's learn more about that. This is Tara with Rove and Reverie. So are you better?
We're going to throw the concussion in there to start with. Awesome.
Yes,
actually, thankfully it was not as bad as the first one, but I think I had a good 3 weeks of, that was fun. I'm not allowed to use torque wrenches without a helmet anymore. And actually everything I did on the Jeep yesterday, everybody else used the torque wrenches. I didn't touch them.
But did you put any tool in your mouth?
No, because I safely went to a shop of a friend who's also on the Yukon team with me and decided it was just best to let them knock out the things I was going to injure myself doing. So yeah, we just accomplished it that way. Obviously, I thought about it yesterday too. I'm like, if I do this right, because it was all the control arms we were working on too.
Yeah.
It's like, if I do this and knock myself out again, I'm never going to live it down.
No, because in the third time, it would be like, you probably really hurt yourself.
Oh, I have a full dent in my head. Like, I have a good scar going on. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, girl, you've got to stop it.
So, helmet. I just wear a helmet now.
That's you're just gonna need a helmet and a full bubble, like a bubble suit.
Just the head injuries. Yeah. I give up.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself and who I'm speaking with. This is Tara McGovern. So tell me who Tara is.
Who am I? Gosh, that's a fun question. Today, I am crazy mom running around. So I generally, what I do, people ask how and why I do this. Oh, I'm a photographer of 17 years. So that was my career path. And so as far as the overlanding part of it getting mixed into there, for all of those years, I've always done travel, photography, wedding photography, but all of it involves travel. So the whole traveling everywhere was kind of already in the mix. And then when COVID hit 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago now, because most of my work was international travel work, everything got canceled. So I didn't really know what to do with myself as far as being able to give my kids a summer or actually fill my time with something useful. So I threw them in the Jeep and just headed across the country. And we did whatever happened for 3 months. We just kind of, went back and forth across the country and did whatever they felt like doing, because I didn't want them to be locked inside for months of summer.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people had that idea as well, because like, what do you do? Like,
there's a major surge of people going outside in 2020, and I think that
wasn't long after I got the Jeep, and of course I was that I'm just going to keep it the way it is. It's perfect. $14,000 later.
Concussions and
say it is now. I don't know if there's anything original left on it now, but that's okay.
So tell us a little bit about your Jeep. I have pictures and your setup here. I love it.
My Jeep is a 2017 JKU, and I get asked all the time why I chose a JK instead of a JL, and there are many, many reasons for that as far as its use and why I use it overlanding wise and the purpose of that. But I can touch on that more if people want to know more on why I made that choice later as far as mechanically and frame and all of that, but there are reasons.
I want to know.
Okay.
Because I have a JL, and we've had JKs in the past, and there are quirks with the JL that annoy the crap out of us.
Which ones? The electrical ones or the frame ones? Or
the electrical ones. All of the electrical ones.
So in general, there's a lot of things on the JK that are steel and stronger and heavier. Obviously, people want lighter, but the reality is there's certain things that you really kind of want to be heavy and steel. And so, like the frame. So the frame, I trusted the frame on the JK a lot more than I trust a frame on a JL, especially the first few years of them.
Yeah.
And when I got it, they were at that point, they only had 2 years of them out yet. And there was,
issues.
Worries of, there was worries of strength because of the way they made the frames totally different. And bending, a lot of people were bending frames and things like that on that. I even love that my doors, as much as people complain about how heavy they are, my doors are heavy steel and can take a hit and have. So there were strength factors to that. And as far as I wanted a vehicle that wasn't entirely known, parts are easy to come by. As far as any of the Jeeps right now, I think JK really is the easiest one to come by parts for.
For sure.
And that's been consistent, easy to find used parts for. And there was no unknowns with them as far as electrical gremlins and all of the fun codes. And I also don't like vehicles that are all electrical on everything. Even this one drives me crazy, even with the PCM, but I have wiped its brain multiple times and kind of redone all that as well. But the JLs are really, everything's just even more electrical controlled. So when that goes wrong, everything goes wrong. And I didn't want to deal with all of that. So obviously over the years, since then, the past 3 years, they've gone a little better.
There's been several times where I think it has a secondary battery on it. And so that secondary battery is crap. I'm wanting to replace it and get some red arc stuff going in. And but it's crazy whenever one night I'll go and drive it just fine. The next morning I'll go in and it won't start. And it's dead. And like the windshield wipers are going, the flashing lights, and it's like a strobe party going on in my Jeep, except for it's not starting over. And it's always when you have to be somewhere.
Oh yeah. And so those inconsistencies, and the diesels have even other little glitches with them that do the same things, which are even worse, right under their fuses. Like they never get it right the first time round, and I was not ready to commit to a Jeep that was still within its first 2 years of production. They've come a long way in the last 3 years with even fixing all of that stuff. But either way, I can go, even if I have to go pick up something, like my Jeep has been hit and been in accidents, I was able to pull parts off of other vehicles and replace it, because even like there is no getting new parts for mine, but I can find used ones very easily, or things are unknown. They've had that model out so long as far as the things that have been fabricated or the options for that. I just wanted something to me that was a little more reliable, and I was happy with it.
That. This is my husband with our channel, Ozark Overland Adventures. Matt says, I hate the electronic crap in our JT and JL. So true. That's one of the reasons he didn't want to switch for the longest time, too. He has the JT, obviously, and he had the JKU, but it was starting to, he'd been driven, everywhere.
I was going to say, it's also about like you reach a point where you have driven the crap out of it and it is done with you. And for mine, where it's at right now, it is hitting 100,000 miles, but so many things, like its transmission is only a year old. So like certain things are new. So it'll go for a while, but.
You work on pretty much all of it.
I do. I mean, there are things that, of course, like I refer to the experts, and I am really, really lucky and blessed to be a part of teams like the Yukon team and all of that, where I have these amazing, talented men that are always happy to help and teach me, that have 20, 30 years of experience of if I walk into a shop and ask or say, this is what I think is going on, and they can help me through that, because every time I think I know it, there's like a whole nother rabbit hole of things to learn.
Right.
But I do try to make myself do everything on it, A, because it's cheaper that way, and B, because I do not think anybody should be extremely far off road with their rig and their children if they can't fix something that goes wrong. I feel like that would just make me an irresponsible parent. So,
and not only that, like sometimes as a woman, mechanics, if you're just driving into some place and they don't know you, they will rape you over the coals, just.
But see, I like that though, because I can learn very quickly if I don't tell them I know anything they're talking about at a shop that I'm not familiar with. Like you'll know really quick whether they're lying to you or not. So
that's very, very true.
But thankfully I have, Jeep World has a whole network. There's always somebody that is around or somewhere where you're at to help, thanks to, Instagram and Facebook. Jeep World.
It's a great community for sure.
So there's a bent to that.
Yeah, Matt wants to know.
So I am part of the Yukon Performance Ambassador team for Yukon Gear and Axle. So like we've got race team guys in there. I think I'm the only overland person right now. I think we need to get some more in there. But yeah, it's affiliated with Yukon Gear and Axle.
That's awesome. And you do a lot with Quadratec too, right?
Yes. So I've been with Quadratec since Quadratec was kind of the only reason I ever had social media for this, because they reached out to me when I first started doing things. And before that, I had pretty much deleted all of my social media for a very long time.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I was off of it for actually 2020 when COVID hit. I had no idea what was going on with the world because I wasn't in social media, and I was okay with that.
Yeah, and then I hit that point where for all of the work stuff I was doing with it, social media was required, and then it just kind of snowballed from there on some things and kept going. So it's been fun. But yeah, that was kind of started all that.
I saw your light bar on on your Jeep? Because I had never seen a light bar like that. I'm a Casey highlights girl. I know you
Same.
were at the Casey booth,
Yeah.
but that hidden light bar was just way cool.
Yeah, so that one's the Quadratec one. Obviously, I love a Casey light bar too.
Yeah.
But for me, because I am in the South half the year, and even in Washington, like I basically live two places that I'm dealing with a lot of rust issues on things.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that I could keep as light as possible or internal,
Yeah.
then I keep it in there because I don't have to deal with any of the rust issues. Or Florida Jeeps with the light bar, things rust in 2 months. Like
Yeah.
that's all you get. So I just try to keep it all internal as much as possible.
Yeah, I love the way it looks. It's unique. Everybody has the Gravity Pro 6 now, the light bar. My husband has it. He got it off my old Jeep and he wouldn't give it back. So
I mean, it's one way to get your parts.
it is. So you're in obviously not a house right now. I mean, kind
No,
of.
I am hiding in my tent because I haven't seen my kids for like 5 weeks because I was on the road, and I picked them up this morning, and so we got camp set up, and then I sent them off down the road. Well, actually, Riley has a friend with him too.
Okay.
We acquired that quickly, of course. That I sent them off for ice cream. I sent them with cash to get ice cream, and I think there was an arcade game involved that they were looking
they're
for
never
up at the
coming
store.
back.
Oh no, they'll be back in 20 minutes asking for more money, but I figured it would give me like a little bit of a break. That was the goal. So
That's
I'm
totally
hiding.
true. So you're in Washington right now.
Yes.
Home base is Florida. And you travel to Washington just to see family? Are you there?
Work is usually so I
Okay.
work both places, but my business was started out here, so I've always kept my clients out here, and season for that kind of stuff out here just because weather controls it is usually summer. So usually I'm here most of the summer.
So what is your business that you do for?
I'm a photographer.
Okay, so
Full-time. Yeah.
just like, do you still do the weddings or do you do individuals or?
I do some. Most of what I'm doing right now is off-road industry, media marketing kind of work as well.
Okay.
And then I'm still doing the weddings here and there for people that I really love.
Gotcha. Yeah,
But
those are a pain.
I say I've done 17 years of them, so I'm hitting that point where I really have to it's got to be a really good client, and I try to limit them so it's not killing me completely or burning
My
me out to
husband's
do
a
it.
photographer too, and he's done weddings, and he does not like doing weddings because you
It's
have
not.
to.
I mean, and I love my clients to death, but it's one of those
Yeah.
where if you aren't really well matched up with your client, it's a 12-hour day of insanity, and if you don't get along or don't, yeah, it's
And
not a
there's
fun
always the
spot to be
shots
in.
that you can't go back and get.
Yes, you get one chance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a struggle. So tell me some of the pictures that you've taken off road. I know you've sent me some gorgeous pictures. Where is
Yeah.
this located at?
Oh, don't ask me locations. That'll get me in trouble. You
Well,
want
you
to know?
don't have to say. You can just say the
So
state.
that one is somewhere within the vicinity, within a 100-mile radius of Lake Powell. I'll give you
Okay.
that.
Lake Powell?
Yeah.
I don't even know where Lake Powell is. I'll have to figure that out. And then there's the kiddos.
That's you. That is Utah.
So how old are the kiddos?
That was last year. So right now they are 11 and 16.
Okay. Did they love camping?
Depends on where we're at.
Does it?
Yeah. I got a full mutiny last year when things got a little too hot. So yeah, they depends on the scenario. But yes, most of the time they're good with it, right? As long as Wyatt can find a quiet spot for himself, he's good with it. And
Yeah.
Riley prefers large campgrounds with people, which is not my thing, but I give it to him like once a week just to appease his extrovertness that needs to be around people.
It's all about balance. You have to be able to share, with everybody. And it's got to be, to me, I can't imagine being on the road full time. And I know you do go home, back to Florida,
Yeah.
but
We
being
usually
on
do
the
about
road
3
full
months.
time with kids is just, that's a whole different ball game.
But they've never known any different though. Because even before I had the Jeep, there was travel all the time. So they're pretty flexible and they like it too. I think they know, especially with Wyatt, because he starts college in August. I think he knows this is kind of like his last hurrah, because after that we're in a totally different kind of school schedule and world. So
does he know where he's going to go and all that?
Yeah, he's 16, but he's already finished pretty much all of his high school stuff. So he's going right into the college program to get that
That'd be
knocked out
awesome.
before. Yeah.
That's amazing that they can do that now, for sure. Troy wants to know, do you have an air conditioner to keep cool on hot nights?
Okay, so I will absolutely say the funniest thing I heard, and I got in trouble for laughing out loud when I heard a dude at Expo this year asking somebody if they could put an air conditioner in to pump it up into the rooftop tent. And I, at that point, buy an RV.
We have an air conditioner. We have the zero breeze. We love it.
But are you okay? Also, I don't know. I am a minimalist to my core. So like,
Yeah.
if it is not a necessity, it is not in here. Each one of us gets one small duffel bag. If your clothes don't fit in it, they don't come. Like Wyatt has favorite boots. They don't come because they take up half his bag. So like,
Yeah,
it's just
well,
like,
in Arkansas, for us to be able to even camp in the summer,
okay, well that
it's
is fair. But for me, I'm just like, I was just dying. But when I'm seeing people looking at like a $50,000-$60,000 trailer and asking if they can pump the air
yeah.
conditioning up into the rooftop tent, I'm kind of like, okay, there's some enclosed ones over there that may work better.
Misty with Lady Overlanding Radio. She's team no AC and no heater. We
I don't
have
have a heater
both.
either.
We have both.
I don't have a heater, but I keep a heated blanket that I lay underneath the sleeping bags if things need to be warmed up. Yeah.
I don't know. You can't, like my husband said, you can't
I also
survive
do not have
camping in
hot
the
water.
Ozarks.
My children don't get hot showers. They get to go jump in a lake.
Oh, I couldn't do your lifestyle, girl.
I love it. Once you're in it for long enough, like I don't like going back to.
I mean, it do good for the hair because you're supposed to take like really cold water.
It is amazing for your hair and your skin. I tell people at the start of summer, I'm looking rough. By the end of summer, every year, and I get this comment every year, I look 10 years younger. From the lack of stress. It's mostly from the lack of stress, but lack of stress, like nothing touches my skin, my hair, like it's totally different.
That's awesome. Joe and Cottywompo are near Lake Powell right now. I'm gonna have to Google where Lake Powell's at. And then Arla Crest, she's another half to the Lady Overlanding Radio, so I've got to do the hey girl. Will you be at Overland Expo Pacific Northwest? I know we didn't get to see each other at West.
I know.
It was insane.
I'm trying to decide on that at the moment. Remind me what dates that one is. I know there's two.
It's in July. I think it's like the second weekend in July.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would need a really good reason because it's kind of like a duplicate of everything I've already done for everybody. So unless somebody really needs me there for something, that's kind of, I'm like, it's got to be a necessity kind of thing. Like I'm happy to go if somebody needs me for something or I'm of some use to somebody, but I feel like I'm of more use to people doing this.
Yeah, doing your full-time lifestyle. Did you see anything at Expo West that I know you're a minimalist and I know that there was a lot of things there that weren't needed. We kind of talked about it before the show started. It was overwhelming for us because we had never been to an Overland Expo. We've always done like the local ones around here, more Expo, Rendezvous in the Ozarks, that kind of thing. Much smaller scale. Like doesn't compete, but it's still the More Expo is pretty big. But
More is pretty big.
Extravagant stuff that was there.
It's the scale of it, yes, and the scale of the builds are crazy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, they were nice. If someone was to give me something like that, I would take it. If I could drive it where I would want to go. But
that's my point. You start to lose drivability and I'm like, okay, it still can't go where my Jeep can go. So I guess I'm sticking with this one.
Yeah. So did you see anything there that you were like, that's pretty cool, I want that?
Well, yeah. I mean, there was a Scout build in the KC booth. We're talking about what I actually wanted to leave with. That was that.
Yeah. Did you leave with anything?
Well, I did because my fridge broke, so I left with a new Dometic, of course. And what else? The things that caught my eye were, again, the minimalist things. But, of course, by the last day I was there, they had actually all sold out. So there was, I'm trying to remember company names. And if I can't, I will send the link after here. But there is a tent company that came out with a tent that can either go on the ground or rooftop. It is 25 pounds. It's amazing.
Oh, wow. Like, I didn't even see that.
I'll send you a link. And I cannot remember the name. So the people who designed it, they originally were Front Runner. They are the force behind Front Runner before they sold Front Runner. So the same design team. Yeah. So that was probably the most impressive product that I think will be going on the next
trailer.
The next trailer. And just deciding space-wise where we're putting things for that one. But that, like 25 pounds, I can lift anywhere on my vehicle. And it works with a bunch of different racks or just without a rack on the ground. You can just put it anywhere. So
how many people did it hold?
2.
Okay.
I mean, if you really need to squeeze 3, you can squeeze 3. But because we've done it. It's about the same size as my Front Runner one.
Oh, okay.
Not too, but it's just so, for me, if it's lightweight like that, like as soon as you can shave pounds off something, like you have my attention. And then there was a new shower company it was the portable shower. What are they called?
The Geyser?
Yes, the Geyser.
We
Geyser
got one.
showers. Okay, the Geyser showers, and see, they sold out by the time I got back. I went to go back, and he was like, "No, they just sold out like 2 hours ago." But you can order them online.
Yeah, the Geysers are really cool. It looks because they save so much water.
Yes. So again, we're like it's the minimalist things that get me. That you can just if you can shrink it down, make it lighter, and just not be carrying again. Like if you don't need 20 gallons of water for that, then yes. So the Geyser showers really impressed me. That one, again, you're gonna go for all the things that like allow you to shrink things down.
And I saw. Did you see the kitchen multi-tool? We got one of those too. It was like all of the. It was a spatula that turned into tongs that turned into, and it was all in one little.
But I have my
thing.
front runner set that has like
do
everything.
Too.
So yeah,
but it's nice to be able just to have one thing.
I don't think I saw that. I feel like I walked through there every day for 3 days in a row, and every day I saw something new.
I know.
And
day 3 we stopped, but we were like, no, I'm just tired.
I was like, I Irish goodbye did on Saturday night. And first of all, I learned that a lot of people did not know what the term Irish goodbye meant, and now they do.
I do not.
Where you just up and quietly like disappear without saying anything to anybody.
That's what an Irish goodbye is. Yeah, that's my style. That's I can get down with that. Yeah.
Which my friends expect of me at this point. Like, okay, she did it again. She's gone. She's in another state. We're going looking for bears in July. Yes, we are. We will not have to look hard. But what else? As far as trailer, gosh, so many trailers and so many toppers and so many things. So trailer wise, absolute most impressed by Treeline Outdoors was there, and they have tents, but there was a company, Beaver Built Trailers. They're out of Canada.
Okay.
Were like everything I could absolutely ask for. When I go through all of these trailer builds, and it's been my frustration this year of there's just so many, but if you really look at it, and not to insult or criticize anybody, but I don't feel like the people designing them all the time are the ones using them, because if they were,
they would know some of it wouldn't work.
Right. And so for me, it's a suspension thing, finding suspension that actually can keep up with the Jeep, because at this point I'm just dragging it. Like I would love suspension that works with my Jeep, or that, can. So rock crawling, which I get 90% of people don't do, but for those that do, having a really good suspension. So Cruise Master, obviously coming out with really awesome suspension the last couple of years. And then for trailers that was why the ones with by Beaver Built caught my attention, was the weight of them is so much less than it's just really. I'm a minimalist again. I want to say the bigger one, I don't want to quote this wrong, it was barely more than mine currently, but it was bigger. Just everything about it was done right. I want to say that it was 900 empty, but I'm pretty sure it was actually less.
That's super light.
And then, or depending on, it really depends on what you put in it, and I don't want to quote that number, like it was in my head of where I had gotten it down to would be around 900. So taking some things out, because they have so many options of what you could put in there.
Wade says you don't want a $2 million earth warmer with matching china.
Yes, I want that too, but to play with. But I want to give it back.
I don't want the matching china, but I'll take the earth warmer.
I was like, I'll go play with it for a month. I don't know that I want to be responsible for the upkeep, but I will definitely. I'll go play with it. I can
put some Dixie cups in it, and we'll be fine.
I am a minimalist to my core, so every time I get contacted by a company, they're like, "You want this?" I'm like, "Can I give it back? Like, can I take it and play with it and then give it back after I'm done with it? Because I don't want to be responsible for it." Yeah,
I totally understand. So what kind of trailer do you have now?
I currently have by Symmetry. Yeah, by Symmetry Overland. Okay, and they're out of Wyoming. Yeah,
that's cool. So is it just storage on the inside there? Does it have like a sink, kitchen area?
Storage. You can, again, customizable completely, and you can really put whatever you want in it. And mine was really specifically made for Jeep and my Jeep, as far as even the wheels in the back track exactly where my rear tires track. So this was a Symmetry. It's got the Timbren suspension on it. And then right now it's got 35s on it. My Jeep has 37s. The trailer has 35s. I've got a full fridge back there, table. It's got the battery in there, all the lights, power, all of that kind of stuff's in there.
That's awesome.
The basics that you would need. I mean, it could have I could throw a hot water heater and all that in there if I wanted to. There's room for all of that for anybody that wants it. But again, it was just one of those things I just couldn't justify putting in there because I didn't need it enough.
Well, it's space. It takes up space and it's heavier. So
if I really need hot water, you can boil it. But summer travel, I mean, if I did more winter or snow travel, it would probably be in there. But I just don't need it.
Yeah, I see some hammocks set out there. Do y'all sleep in hammocks? Do the boys sleep in hammocks, or do they prefer tent?
It depends on where we're at. Bear country, so we have, obviously, the back of the Jeep still turns into a queen size bed, or full queen, like, we can lay it all flat. So they've got that option. Wyatt has the front runner flip pop tent that generally, if we get somewhere and we're not like heavy into bear country, he waits to see where Riley and I set up the trailer, and then he takes his tent and he leaves.
Look at that.
He goes at least 50 feet away.
Yeah.
And then, so we have the tent annex that goes under the front runner rooftop tent as well, which is a whole nother room. So everybody has their bedrooms.
Yeah.
We kind of there's options.
That's how we live too.
Yeah.
That's definitely what we like to do. Chris Davis says, no AC in Arkansas in summer. Oh, heck no.
I was raised in Florida. You can't I'm conditioned. It's fine. Just go find some water to jump in.
We're all bougie up here in Arkansas, apparently. Once you come up a couple states, we have to have air conditioner.
I was raised in Florida. I think that conditions you to any level. Well, so Florida, I'm used to hurricanes and no power for weeks. So it will you just have to adjust. And I make my
So you said the whole back seat. You said this, and I was like, okay, she really is minimalist if you can still lay down your back seat.
Oh, yeah.
If you must not have anything in the back, because we have a lot of stuff in the back.
So I keep everything out of the Jeep because I actually really do still love to actually wheel and not be limited in that. Mm-hmm. And also for me, more weight in the Jeep is detrimental to it. It's also a safety factor. There's so many reasons to not add the weight to your Jeep. That's what the trailer's for. So no, I keep everything that I have system-wise that works in the trailer. Size-wise, with all the front runner boxes and the wolf packs and all of that, they fit into the Jeep exactly the same way that they fit into the trailer. And then they can go back and forth. And same thing with the roof rack. Everything attaches same way. The whole system works together. But I keep it all out of the Jeep so that as soon as we get somewhere, we drop the trailer and we leave. And I don't have to worry about anything being in there. Sort of the kids will put their backpacks in there and stuff like that.
So do you keep the top on? Do you keep things on the top whenever you're wheeling? Because I see the packs there.
Okay. So yeah, that one I use gun cases for those, but those are on the trailer now. Gotcha. And then, so I have the front runner bag that stays up there. My Typhoon bag. It's a waterproof bag that they make that you could actually put the wolf packs and cub packs into if you need to.
Oh.
So I keep that up there if I need to throw something in it, but otherwise, nope. I try to just keep all the weight, and I have the Pro Eagle jack that I keep on the trailer 90% of the time. But if I'm going somewhere and I know I'm going to be on a trail that I would be kind of shit out of luck if I didn't have it, it goes right back onto the rack in the back of the Jeep.
Gotcha. So do you prefer rock crawling or do you prefer overlanding? What is your definition of overlanding for sure?
All of it. Yeah. Because it's about destination. I mean, if I have to rock crawl to get somewhere really good, then I'm going to. But I tend to drive really way too fast. I am not a slow crawler. I was in the shop yesterday. I'm like, I wonder how that got bent. And somebody texted me that he was like, maybe going too fast. I'm like, no,
you're driving.
That wasn't it. It's not possible. Think it was hammers. So speed is always preferred, but I'm not the person that goes and does a trail for the sake of saying I did a trail or to crawl up a rock. I will crawl the rock if it gets me to somewhere cool.
Yeah, I love that. So what is some of the favorite places that you've been to?
Yeah, I can't tell places.
This
is my big thing this year. Well, obviously Moab this year was really, really fun, even with the weather. And for that, I actually ended up doing Johnson Valley, Yucca area for a little longer than I intended this year, just because it's so I'm usually out there for hammers, and it was so quiet, and there was no people, and that was when the eclipse was. So for me, because I do a lot of astrophotography, I kind of follow where that is and where I can see things and where I'm actually going to get some good shots. So that kind of controls a little bit of my schedule.
I was going to say, I think you gave me some of these beautiful shots. It's just
Utah,
gorgeous.
Of course. And then I hit St. George area. I kind of just bounced around for a bit. Where was the other ones I got some favorite shots this year? Over by Vegas, which surprised me. Found some trails over by Vegas.
Yeah.
So the unexpected ones.
There's some at Vegas, and I'm like, there's things to wheel at in Vegas? I would never have thought that.
Yeah, it's just hot. It was already getting hot. So it was one of those a little bit too hot. So we ended up cutting that a little bit short. And all the stuff I'm excited for is still upcoming. Obviously, Washington has all of my favorite go-to spots. But yeah, we're going to still do Montana and Colorado and all that still.
Colorado's our
Good
favorite.
question.
We've been saying this since probably last year. We want to go places where there's not names of things, because everybody's been and done all the trails in Colorado and in Utah, and you see that everywhere. We want to be able to pull up Gaia and just be like, let's see where this goes.
Well, then Montana and Wyoming are it, but just be prepared.
Be prepared.
There's going to be no help.
Well, that's good. We're okay with that.
Like you'll really, but those are the places where we definitely need more time. Northern Wyoming, all that zone, and Montana for sure.
Have you ever been anywhere out east?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's just not my.
West.
I just kind of I just aim for at least the Colorado border or further west, and then I'm okay. Otherwise, my brain's like, no. And that's partially because I think I grew up going to all of the East Coast places. So like the novelty maybe isn't there, but I also prefer the mountains and weather over here. So
yeah, I definitely prefer the mountains, especially whenever we're coming through like New Mexico, and you can kind of see, whenever we get through Red River, and you can start seeing the mountains forming like off in the distance. It's just like, it's calling me.
Usually even like what we drive, they know that first drive out is we're gonna leave Florida. We usually do not stop until we hit Colorado. And it's like just a straight there, and then we'll slow it down. And then same thing coming back. Once we leave Colorado, it's like there's no reason for us to stop. Just keep going.
Yeah, for sure. Chris Davis wants to know, astrophotography, you say, are you on Astrobin? I don't even know what that is.
Mm-mm.
Have you heard of that?
I don't either. No, okay. But I'm also kind of antisocial and don't voluntarily join any media thing.
Yeah, you're the one that I was like, I don't have social media, so I really wouldn't know what that is. No. You said that you have possibly another trailer coming, maybe? Not talking about it, but maybe. Okay, so what are you going to do with the old trailer? Are you selling it?
All unknowns.
I must say, you can't pull 2 trailers behind the Jeep.
I mean, you technically can. It just won't make it very far.
Maybe if you trailer it.
Get another Jeep. No, that's the last thing I need.
Lee wants to know, when you finally replace the Jeep somewhere down the road, would you buy another one or go with another platform?
I mean, ultimately, if I could choose a vehicle that would be the next build, it would be a Scout. That is still the dream, but I do not have $200,000. So I get asked this a lot, and the reality is I have yet to find another vehicle that can really do what my Jeep does. I have thought about a Gladiator, bobbing a Gladiator, so that it, you can shorten really it. And as far as towing goes, yeah. But all of those things, and a diesel, I would really love a diesel factor in there for the towing. But yeah, I think this one stays for a while. Also, the prices on things are absolutely ridiculous right now. So in the future, I have no idea what it'll be. I always would love to say I have a plan, but I don't, because somebody will come out with something. But I just have not yet found another one that can do what she does as far as the amount of wheeling and what I put it through, and the right down to the articulation. But once you get it dialed in, there's not many limits to it.
No, and then especially you've developed this kind of bond with it because you've worked on it and you've driven it. Does she have a name?
No, sometimes Karen? It's Reverie, but no. Sometimes I'll yell at her. People ask me that all the time. I'm not one of those I didn't name her. It's just occasionally it just wasn't really a thing for me, and figured she'd name herself at some point, and didn't really. I don't think she wants to be boxed into anything, so it's fine.
Yeah. Lee wants to know, what's your favorite state to explore?
Montana currently is the one I want more time in. I really want more time there.
I want to go just because Yellowstone, and that's where a lot of that stuff is at. So yeah, it's just gorgeous. Then Troy want to know, have you ever been to Maris Adventure Park in Texas?
No, I've been invited a couple times, but it's one of those where I just tend to fly through Texas as fast as possible. So I haven't stopped there yet. We might on the way home. We considered it because we have some friends in Dallas that I think we're going to stop and see. So we may hit that on the way back home.
I've heard it's very beautiful. We actually were invited by the owners there as well, and we're trying to figure out dates and everything. But
yeah, it was one of those where it's I'm going to land there in July, and it's so hot. Some of those places, the months that we end up being available for it end up being just really hot and the kids kind of mutiny on me.
Yeah, Texas and yeah, that's definitely where you need an air conditioner. Joseph said, Colorado native here. Y'all are welcome anytime.
Colorado, we'll probably do a couple weeks in Colorado this year too. That's the goal. Montana and Colorado were the primary goals this year once we head out of here.
When are you planning to go to Colorado?
I do not know my dates yet. I'm waiting on clients to give me a couple dates for things, but it'll be sometime between that July 4th and end of July window. It'll be mid-July somewhere.
We're going the end of July, beginning of August. We're going to do Holy Cross because we've never made it up to there.
Yeah.
That's the one trail that we have not done, in Colorado. And then we're going to just kind of zigzag through. 2023 is going to be Utah, but we usually alternate between Colorado and Utah just because there's just so much to see.
Yeah, I got a good couple weeks in Utah this year, so I feel like, I think the kids are a little mad at me for doing it without them, but again, they don't want to do Utah in July either, so.
No. And y'all got snow. You were at Easter Jeep Safari, right?
No, because my rig had to be ready for a Jeep Beach. So, but yeah, no.
Okay.
We had, even last week though, we had hail and like 60, 70 mile an hour winds, and it was a little crazy. That's how we ended up on random trails, and it was not.
I didn't realize the weather was that bad there. So they had did they have flooding?
I don't think so, but I was up pretty high everywhere I was. We gave up on the first campsite and had to go searching for one that was a little bit more covered in canyon area. Yeah, so they might have, but I had no cell service for days. It was just kind of avoiding where the weather was going, and then it would randomly hail, and then right when I left it was snowing, and it was weird.
Have you ever had any issues with your tent in hail? No, that's good.
Nope, not yet.
I've never been in a place where it's storming that bad.
Yeah, it would just randomly do it in the middle of the day. It was kind of funny. I was like, okay, what next?
Are we going to see flying beetles around anytime soon?
It was one of those, like, both days. It's like, okay, and then it would stop, and then you could, of course, with Moab, you can see it coming. So, you can see it. Yeah. It's like, okay, we'll just see what the next one brings.
Check. Troy says to import an 80 series Land Cruiser with a diesel from Japan.
Oh, well, I mean, if you watched my footage from Moab and the last couple of weeks, there was one of those with me.
Matt says from a capability standpoint, he said he loves his Gladiator so much more than the previous JKU. Good.
I used to say no to the Gladiators, and then I finally got to experience a couple really good builds. Again, I would still bob the end of it. I have no use for the 5.5 foot bed. Clearance wise is more important to me, but the towing capacity of it is obviously going to be better than the JK. Yeah. So if a diesel Gladiator bobbed and done right, I mean, I'm still going to...
So no 392?
I don't know. I already get 9 miles to the gallon. No, the diesel, I don't know. I've really unless they come out with something way better than the diesel for the towing, I've loved the diesels that I've gotten to play with, as far as for what I do. And then I'm still going to have to adjust to the longer wheelbase, which may be a little boring, but
Yeah. We saw a really cool chopped Gladiator, and the guy had done it himself.
Oh, really?
He had mad skills. And then he took it and had it the paint done. He didn't do the painting because it was matched. But man, it looked sharp. And it looked kind of like the JK8s. But just a lot better.
That was really nice. Well, yeah, because they've got a whole different stance to them as far as axle width, everything. So then you've got, the better. It's just a little different. I mean, the wheelbase is still always going to be the thing that gets me a little bit, but you adjust.
Because you drag. If you have the long bed, you drag.
Yeah, and so, I mean, the wheelbase is still that same no matter how much you shorten the bed, but I feel like a shortened one with the right possibly topper on it, depending on what I want to do storage-wise, and then for towing a trailer would be a really good solid mix, a little bit more capable. I wouldn't have to stress so much about abusing, with the Jeep. This one I have to be careful.
Yeah.
Bigger tires.
So what are your plans now for your build? I know you said that you were working on it and fixing some bended rods and stuff, but do you plan on doing anything?
No, honestly, just keeping her working is the goal, which has kind of always been the goal. But I mean, I still haven't swapped out that front axle because it won't break. I keep saying I'm not going to swap it out till it breaks, and it won't break. So
That's good.
Maybe I'll break it this year, and then we'll move up. And possibly, I think the only change I would make would be to put fusion axles possibly under there if it was a necessity. But it's one of those where she's pretty much dialed in. There's not a ton to do to her. Everybody keeps telling me to do the long range tank, but
yeah,
I keep trying to avoid adding weight. So also considered going with Nemesis for a little bit and seeing about swapping out bumpers. There's not much left for me to get lighter on there. So it'd be like Nemesis swapping out possibly bumpers and sliders and stuff like that, which might drop a little bit of weight, but I'm running out of things to drop weight off from. So
I did a delete on the back of my JL just because I didn't want the weight either. And then I just put the Rusty's rear fascia just to protect that bottom piece because I didn't want the body if I ever banged it on anything.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are like possibilities, but not necessities. And if it's not necessity, it pretty much doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because once I've got the suspension where I really want it and am happy with it, that was really the priority because that was the major thing that just hadn't been cooperative last year.
What suspension are you running on it now?
Currently, it's all TerraFlex, the Outback system.
Okay.
With adjustable control arms, everything. Yeah, it's all that full system, which has worked pretty well. The only thing I've got left to do is to put in they've got to be welded in the seats for the rear coils, the purchase for the rear, so it'll get those coils a little straighter in the back.
Yeah, that'll definitely be nice. Joseph, I'm sorry, I can't say your last name, Joseph. Someone just said Joseph. What is your favorite place so far in Colorado?
I mean, for us in general, anywhere in the Ouray area like that, we have so many spots between there and Durango and that whole zone to still explore. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I haven't gotten to spend as much time there. That's why we're going there this summer too. There's all of it, the whole western half of it.
I mean, that's totally our answer as well. We have been all the way from like Castle Rock. You know, we went to the Red Rock Amphitheater. That was, I want to go back and see a concert there so bad. Yeah. But we've traveled all through there. And then we went through, of course, Ouray, Montrose, all that area. We actually, in 3 years, we're going to be on the road full time, living out of our camper and our Jeeps. And so, yeah, super pumped about that. But we were thinking we may have like a home base, you know, either in Montrose or Gunnison. Yeah. Just because that's kind of an in-between distance between like Utah, you know, Colorado area. But yes, we want to see. There's just so many places that we want to see, even out east, like, you know.
Yep. That's a good middle ground area. That's a good spot. You're kind of in the middle.
Yeah, for sure. So your kiddos, do they drive the Jeep whenever I know you said 116, so does he like to drive?
I mean, off-road, yes, but he does not like to be on a highway where there's things coming at him. So yeah, we have yet to really cross that boundary till he's more comfortable with it. But yeah, off-road, they've both driven for quite a while.
That's awesome.
But as long as there's no cliff for them to drive me off of.
Just the mental cliff, right?
Basically.
So what other photography events do you have lined up besides just, you know, your friend shoots? Are you doing anything for like, I know you've photographed the Jeep Beach, and then you also did some King of the Hammers. Did you do some of that?
Yeah, I shoot King of Hammers every year. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, 10 days out there at Shoot King of Hammers. So again, we'll have those. I think upcoming next for me this year. Mm-hmm. I've done more events in the last year than my entire life, and I am the antisocial Jeeper. So,
are you ready to take a break?
No, I just like it to serve a purpose. Like if it's kind of the same repeat of a last event, I just want to make sure there's a purpose and a reason for me to be there and not just kind of like repeat the same things over and over again. So yeah, SEMA, SEMA's, I don't know how SEMA's looking this year, but there's lots of talk of possibly SEMA. And then, what's in October? Oh, Trail Hero. That's always a good one. Trail Heroes out in, Santala Resort near St. George, Hurricane, Utah. They do that every year. It's the one that they do all the special needs runs and all of that. Yeah. So I usually do that, and then but that's kind of stacked this year on top of like it's at the same time as Rebelle, and like we haven't figured out October yet. It's like you be 3 places at once, and then Expo East is the same week too, or the week after, something that's like in that same zone. So they're all kind of at the same time, and I think everybody's still trying to decide how we're going to divide and conquer on all of that as far as covering what needs to be covered. And then after October, SEMA's November, and then Hammers is always, it'll be the first week of February.
Yep.
And kind of back into, just the whole cycle continues. So.
That sounds so much fun, though. Do you like shooting more off-road things, or do you like shooting like the shows?
Oh, definitely. I would take Hammers every time over any show. Like, yeah. For me, like the shows I can take or leave. And I know that sounds horrible, but there's
I get it.
I'd much rather be out in the middle of the desert with a bunch of race cars.
Yeah, and just watching them perform, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, we watch it from, our computers because we can stream it. So, but yeah, it's just way cool. Have you ever driven out there or done any of the competitions?
Well, as far as being race driver competing, no. I've always been shooting it. I would, but that takes a lot of money.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and all that.
I get to play with them and hang out with them and shoot them and get to be part of all of it, which is really awesome. Rebelle, I was going to do this year, but again, there's, life things, maybe next year.
Yeah, we have a couple of friends that are doing the Rebelle this year, the Wild Mavens, and we're rooting them on, and I can't wait to watch. That's just an incredible platform for women.
It is.
And just being able to get out of it would be out of my comfort zone because the map portion of it would because I'm all electronic. And so I cannot do the paper maps.
Oh, I could. I'd be like, every time I see them, I'm like, this is my thing. Like I just need somebody to sit their butt in the passenger seat and just let me handle it because I've been doing this alone for years.
Okay, so me and you, we can do the Rebelle Rally next year.
I've told people that. They're like, well, what do you need? Because finding a partner is not as easy as people think.
Yeah.
And so, I just need somebody to sit in the passenger seat and let me do it. And they're like,
no, that's not how that works. Along the way, and just enjoy it.
That's not how that works. You actually need to actually do things together. I'm like, well,
I know.
Working that out. Yeah, we've talked to a couple of people, but again, finding partner and all of this kind of schedules and all of that, it's a little bit of a
and cost. It is expensive to do all of that.
Yeah, entry fee and all that.
For sure. Troy said, would you ever go to Alaska, Canada, and shoot the Northern Lights?
Yep, I have shot Northern Lights, not up there, gotten them here, but yep, I would, hands down, always.
I'd love to. I would love to see the Northern Lights. My husband's mother actually lives in Maine, and so we've seen some pictures that you can get of them there.
You can get them from here too. Right where I'm sitting, actually, about a mile away is where I shot them.
Stop! Nobody likes to brag here.
Yeah, you can if you get far enough north up here. You can.
Gosh, there's just so many things that I want to learn. Chris wants to know, how did you learn your photo skills? Any tips for beginners? And what do you shoot with?
Oh gosh, I've been doing this way too long. I'm old. So photos started with me. I was actually a film shooter first. That's how old I am. And yeah, so that is truly the best way to learn because it makes you create habits that are pretty set that will kind of take you through any camera that you're picking up. But if you can't learn on film, it's mostly self-taught. Back when I was learning and doing stuff, I had a mentor, 2 mentors, and it's a little different now. I feel like everything's so online and people just go YouTube and, try to figure things out a little differently. It's kind of made a little bit more accessible, but all of the information is there for anybody who wants to learn. Ansel Adams, pick up any instructional book by Ansel Adams and you will pretty much be handed a world of information that will take you pretty much anywhere you want to go with it. But you have to really want to know all of those technical aspects, I guess, to memorize them and put them to practice. But yeah, a lot of Ansel Adams and kind of artists like that you study if you can find all of, because they wrote it all down for people. You just have to look for it as far as, learning how they did it.
Any tips that you would suggest besides the books? Just get out there and use your equipment?
I was going to say there's nothing else to do other than to go do it. The only way you're going to learn and master or even figure out how you like or what equipment you like is to go use it.
Yeah, and repetition, to continuously use it. Because I know if I was to take a picture of a waterfall and not take any more pictures, I'll forget the settings that I'll have. It's just you have to go back and just keep shooting. Yeah, that's one thing my husband taught me, and I'm trying to learn.
And don't commit yourself to one. Every time somebody asks me, "What do you shoot, Canon or Nikon?" That question is sorry, but the stupidest question ever to me. I have every brand of camera I've used ever. It's a tool, just like anything else. They all serve a purpose. They all have a different strength and a different weakness. So depends on what you're shooting. but all of them, like I shoot
Yeah.
all of them. I shoot cameras. That is like the, my cell phone counts too. Like it's not about the gear. So don't lock yourself into one type. Be open to trying something new because a different system might work better for you than somebody
The only
else.
thing with my issue is we have Nikon because my husband had Nikon and because he has the glass for it, all of the lenses. And once you bought into that, it's hard to switch over and, like cost wise.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And also, depending on if you're left-handed, right-handed, all of that, like, Canon and Nikon are kind of reverse of each other. So,
yeah, for sure.
The way the dials work.
Chris said the internet's great, but if you don't know what you don't know, it gets confusing from the noise. Very true.
And then we rotate back to the books of people like Ansel Adams and the people that really, anybody that knew what they were doing with film. I mean, there's certain elements that don't change.
Yeah. Leah said Ansel Adams is one of her favorites, or is her favorite.
Same.
Yeah, I've never heard of him. I'll have to look him up. I'm
Digital
learning
or
a lot
not.
of things.
What? Sorry.
I'm learning a lot of things from you. I've never known Ansel Adams before. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's just as far as that digital or not, regardless of the camera, like the basic elements of what you need to learn doesn't matter what type of camera it is. Those don't change.
Okay. And here Missy said Clyde Butcher. Is that another person that's a photographer, I guess?
Another photographer, yeah.
Never heard of that person either. Learning all kinds of tricks.
And every once in a while I do, I'll post any of those photos I post where people ask, I post the settings because a lot of times just looking at the settings on something will help you figure out, oh, that's what caused that, or that's how that worked. So ask people for settings. I try to post them as much as I can if people are confused by them or if it's a night shot, things like that. But always look for the settings.
Night shots are super tricky. Especially with mine, it is. Maybe I just don't know what I'm doing. I mean,
start at 25 seconds. If you just set your camera, start at 25 seconds exposure. If you go longer than 25 seconds, you're going to get motion blur like from the stars. So just set it to 25 seconds and then set it to anywhere between 1200 and 1600 ISO. And basically your aperture, if you've got like a super wide, you can go 2.8 and set it to infinity, and you start there, and you should only have to adjust one or two things from there.
My thing is I never can get the focus just the way I...
Is it for stars? You have to manually focus. Or if you want it to autofocus, take your flashlight, aim it at what you want it to focus on, set the focus, then click the thing back to manual focus so it doesn't take its focus off of that spot, and then turn your flashlight off.
Okay. That's a good idea. I never would have thought about that.
Yeah, you just have to remember to click it back to manual focus before you turn the flashlight off, or it does.
Yeah. It'll start trying to auto again. Troy said night shots or day shots?
Always night shots.
Yeah.
Always. Or right after sunset. Yeah.
We went to Big Bend and the dark sky there. Like, we've never been to where it's been that dark. It's almost blinding. The stars. It's gorgeous.
Moab has spots like that too if you get far enough away from town. Southern Utah as well. Yeah.
Yeah. We were just amazed. We went out and looked at I can't remember the canyon. Santa Elena Canyon? I think that's right.
I think so.
And but that's where we went and took some nighttime photography, and it was just gorgeous. It was just so many stars.
It's like
it was clear. World. It is. It totally is. Mitzi said that's the best thing about the West. Is all
exactly.
Of the stars.
That is something you will never get out east.
Yeah,
that is part of why I'm always over here.
That's true. That's a good idea because you don't. There's a lot more civilization out east for sure. I think there's some places though that offer, like, every place has a little bit of different, offerings.
They do. Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
yes. I'm not knocking all of the East Coast people. It's just not my thing.
I know. I totally get it. We all have favorites.
And stars.
Yeah. Sunrise or sunsets?
Sunrise. Always.
Really?
Yeah.
I like sunsets. I'm a sunset.
Yeah, everybody else likes sunsets. There are less people at sunrise because all the lazy people are in bed. So I don't have to deal with people. I'm antisocial, remember? So I always choose the thing with less people.
I will say hiking to any of the places that you want, like any of the arches, go first thing at the butt crack, like start in the dark.
Up at 3 a.m. Yeah, yes. My kids are very used to getting up at 3 a.m. to get to locations and places and just to get 3 a.m.
So what do they do while you're filming or taking photos?
They go with me. We hike. They go with me.
Okay.
Wyatt brings a book, grabs a hammock. Riley likes to fish. If I find him somewhere to fish,
Yeah, that's awesome.
They have their
Missy,
things.
Missy just said, great sunrise shots on the Atlantic Ocean.
It's still doing on them.
She's like, no, get away from that side.
just run away.
So do you have an X bed in your tent, or do you just sleep on because you're minimalist, I have to know, do you have an X bed, or do you just sleep on the mattress that came
Just
with it?
the mattress that came with it.
I need to be somewhat more like you, but I just don't know that I can.
This is all born of necessity. I'm a single parent. Like, budget-wise,
yeah.
Like, no, my kids like food way too much.
So you gotta spend your money there. You gotta prioritize.
I have boys. One of them is 6'4". Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I bet he helps though a lot around camp and stuff.
I know. Sure. Tonight was the first time I didn't have to set up the tent, so I am short, and I forget how short I am until I have to set up everything myself and realize that he usually does all of that. I'm like, I can't reach that thing. Like, I cannot reach my own rain fly. Like, I'm so used to him he'll knock it out in 5 minutes.
And it's on smaller tires. Like, imagine if it was on the same tires as your Jeep.
They are. They're only a half-inch different.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But so. Yeah, like, even if it was smaller, I still wouldn't be able to reach it, like, at all. I have to climb things. So, like, it's still a lot of work.
Yeah. Heck yeah, it is. So what do you like to cook? You just mentioned they like to eat. So do you cook do you cook around camp?
Yeah, my last month when I was just by myself, I did the whole like super adulting eat one meal a day so that I didn't have to cook all the time. But yeah, when they're here, there's 5 meals a day usually. So yes, I pre-cook a lot of it just so that it's there and ready to go, and I'm not dealing with raw meat scenarios a lot of the time, just because I know it'll be in the fridge. They like everything. Wyatt's a big fan of just sticking anything into a foil packet and throwing it on a fire.
I was going to say, do you take a portable fire pit, or do you just
I have a scuttle, and then I've got a scuttle, got a 1-burner camp stove because again, minimalist.
Well, a scuttle isn't that minimal. I think that qualifies.
Mine's a smaller. Mine is a smaller version. So mine is not Tembo Tusk brand. Mine is a smaller version of it, of course, because I wanted it to fit into a smaller. Yeah, I should clarify that it is a smaller one. Okay. Because I wanted it to pack down small. Gotcha. And then scuttle, just one burner camp stove. Just the basics of whatever you need to do that stuff. And then Wyatt likes, if it's campfire food, it's always foil, and you throw everything he can into there. And
full packs. We've done plenty of full packs. We've evolved because we are not minimalist. We have
no
ovens,
judgment,
we
like
have
at all. It's just stuff stresses me out. Like the extra stuff stresses me out. So
yeah, I totally get it. And I love that about this lifestyle is that you can go from minimalist, you can go to, I don't even think that we are the most extreme, because my husband is still very frugal and I'm the one that's not, but I like to have.
No, you go to Overland Expo and you're like, oh, I'm not so bad. Let me buy another thing.
Yes, for real. When you see an earth roamer that has like a top part that's like a cabana area.
Right. Or the one that has the party topper on it with yeah.
And then it has hammocks that you can put on the inside.
Yep.
I'm not knocking it.
I say we'll string the hammocks from the trailer to the Jeep, but that's about all my kids get. Like,
yeah. It was just insane. It was just, but it's like SEMA too, I'm sure. Like you see these builds and it's just like,
exactly.
What the crap? I hear your kiddos.
There's a They did good.
Yeah, I was about to say, we've hit an hour. So where are you going to be going next?
Well, obviously next from here is Montana and then Colorado. Ideally, if I could go anywhere, it would be overseas, but we're not there yet. So
yeah. Do you plan to eventually go overseas?
Depends on where work takes me.
Yeah.
I have to keep affording it. Gas is killing me, so I'm going to have to start some kind of fund for that. I'm already like $3,800 into that.
Start a GoFundMe.
It's been bad. It's been so much worse than I really thought it. Like, it just gets worse. So right now, our entire travel schedule works around me working enough just to pay for fuel right now, honestly, because it's pretty bad.
What's the highest gas price you've seen?
$6.31 was this week. Yeah.
And that's in Washington?
Yeah.
$6.31?
Yeah. I think even California was a little less than that.
I heard Death Valley hit 8.
Oh, well, Death Valley is always like, I'm sorry, people, but that's always going to be like, it's Death Valley. Like, there's nothing you can do about that.
I've never heard about Death Valley, but that sounds like death to me.
Yeah, it's because there's no way to make it cheaper there. It's not going to happen. Like,
That's just insane. Do you ever think that you'll get to the point where if gas gets so high that you're just like, I can't do this?
Well, yeah, because I mean, I just, budget unless I
Yeah.
win the lottery, which I'd have to play the lottery to win it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know either. I wouldn't even know how to start, but I just want to say thank you, and I'm glad you don't have a concussion. It's been so nice getting to know you.
No memory loss this time that I know of.
Oh, wait, what were we talking about?
Oh, yeah. The first one was great because when you have memory loss, you don't know you have memory loss. So
Yeah.
it's totally fine.
Girl, take care of yourself and have
You
those
too.
boys do all of the torque wrench stuff.
Absolutely.
Do they help you work on the Jeep?
Riley does.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't force things if it's not their thing. So yeah, they have to like it.
You're such a good mom. I'm so glad. Like I said, sounds like you're raising the boys right and you're getting to enjoy life. So that's
We're
what we should
trying.
all aim for.
Yes, we can afford the fuel.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you go eat some ice cream. It's been so good talking to you, Tara.
You too.
All right, you have a good night.
You too.
Bye.